You know the importance of nurturing your prospects and your clients to either make an initial purchase or make another purchase from you. Now, how do you do that? You know that you need to have some kind of nurture set up in your business. Hi, I'm Sean Wina with Blue Cow Marketing, and for 9 years, I've been in marketing automation. And today, I'm going to show you how to build a high-value nurture campaign. We're going to be using Infusionsoft or Keap's Automation Campaign Builder for this tutorial. But if you're using ActiveCampaign or HubSpot or anything else, you can take the principles that I show you in this video and apply it to any one of them. So let's hop into my computer, and I'll show you how I structured this. For those of you who are familiar with Keap and Infusionsoft and you've spent some time in Campaign Builder, this is going to be familiar to you, more so the tool set that I'm going to be showing you here today. Now, I'm going to also show you a couple other elements to this. First of all, before we get into how I've structured this, the importance of a high value nurture, in my eyes, is that if a prospect takes an action, let's say they opt in for a lead magnet or a webinar, and they go through that initial micro funnel, but then they don't take that ideal action like booking a consult or buying a product or buying a service or whatever that is for your business, you need somewhere to put them. And that is where the high value nurture comes in. Now, keeping in mind, this is different than sending out, let's say, a monthly newsletter, where a monthly newsletter would be where you would create that content and you would pull up a list and you would send out a broadcast or a campaign to them that's very timely within that month. Think about this as the best of the best. This is like the top plays of the year. You have developed content for your business, whether it's videos or blogs or PDFs, but you're not also just limited to your content. You can go and find other content like TED Talks or other videos or websites, and you can add context to them. You can say, here's a great TED Talk that I love on this topic, and this is why. That is a great piece of content for high value nurture. The main purpose is to stay top of mind for your prospects and to be consistent. I mean, if you're like me, you get busy, you have the best intentions that you're going to be sending out emails every month or every 2 weeks, but things happen, you don't stay consistent. Having a system like this will allow you to do that. So let's hop into that. The campaign here is built for an entire year, and you can build these to 2 to 3 to 4. It is an ongoing growth project when you always just keep adding on to the end of it. So if you're familiar with the idea of tags, this is very heavily reliant on tags because of one particular reason. Let's say you are dropped into a high value nurture and you get emails of month 1, month 2, month 3, and then you take an action. You book a consult. Well, you want to be pulled out of that campaign, right? You don't want to keep getting those because you are now moving ahead. You're warmer and you are then engaging with that business. But let's say you do that consult and it's not the right time for you. Well, you'll want to be able to put that prospect back into the high value nurture, but you don't want them to start over. You want them to pick up where they left off. And the way that I've architected this will allow you to do that. So I'm going to open up this other tab here. And what I recommend when you're using anything like Keap, Infusionsoft, ActiveCampaign, if you have the ability to put categories to your tags, is I created a category called High Value Nurture so that all the tags for this campaign are in that category. So I like acronyms, I like naming conventions, so I'm giving it HVN, and I have one for active. Active is important because we want to know if somebody is in there. Because if there is another process that you build down the way, you can always break it out on a conditional logic basis to say, if contact has active tag, don't do this. If they do have it, or if they don't have it, then do this, right? That type of thing. And then we have one for every month. This is key. This is where we get to put them back into the sequence, but not give them the same content that they got. And I have them 1 through 12, right, for the entire year. HVN-M12, month 12, pretty consistent with that. Now, let's look at the campaign here. Now, you may lay out your campaigns differently. I like them to be very symmetric and easy to follow. So I started off with a trigger tag, and a trigger tag is basically just a tag to start that high value nurture. Now, what I'm going to do is I purposely, for the sake of this video, left out a couple things so that we can add them in here along the way. With a trigger tag, if you plan to reuse a campaign or a sequence that is started by a trigger, you want to make sure that you have the ability to add that again. Now with Keep in Infusionsoft, the only way to put somebody back into a campaign with a tag is to have that tag removed and be able to reapply it. So this is kicking off with trigger, start high value nurture. So if that is ever added to a contact, they will start into the sequence. And then we go down to housekeeping. Now in housekeeping, this is where we're going to add that active tag. Now, what is missing here? The thing that is also missing here is removing that trigger tag so that we can reuse it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just add in here a remove tag. Now, normally I would put another start down here and run it sequentially. The start sequence is below my video or behind my video for the sake of this, so I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to put it in here. For now, I'll fix it up later. So we're going to call this high value nurture, and we're going to remove it. So immediately it's going to apply the active and it's going to remove that trigger tag. And then they're going to move down to this decision diamond. And if I pull this out all linearly, it's actually just going to every different sequence. So we got month 1, month 2, month 3. So what it's going to do is going to look at the tags. And let's just take a look at this. So in month 1, what we want to make sure is that there is no month tag on the record. So the first one, which is pretty heavy, is contact does not contain either M1 right through to M12. The thing with doing logic for negative tags or not containing is instead of doing ors, you have to do ands. That's just something you have to do in here. If we were doing contains, we would do or. As we go down through month 2, we're making sure that the tag for the previous month doesn't exist on it. And this will make sense once I go into the sequences. So we're going to go all the way through and we're going to make sure that, in month 5, it doesn't have the month 4 tag and so forth. Now going over to the different sequences here for each month, they're all the same with the variation of naming conventions on the emails and the tags that are getting applied and removed. So in the first one, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for 2 weeks. Now, you can send it at any frequency you want. If you wanted to do 3 a month, you can. 4 a month, completely up to you. I recommend at least 1, maybe 2. You don't want to bombard somebody's inbox with a lot of emails in this type of sequence. And I also recommend that you pick a certain day of the week that these ones go out so that you're not compounding emails that are going out by accident. So if maybe you have a podcast that you send out, make sure that goes on a different day than when your HVNs go. In this case, for this example, I have it set for Wednesday at 8:15 a.m. Now, when it comes to the emails, I give them a naming convention of HVN M1 email 1. So E1 M1 HVN. And then this one here, M1 E2. When I go into month 2, it's HVN M2 E3. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that we know exactly what emails are going out. And we also have something called a control sheet. So a control sheet is basically just a Google sheet, like you see here on the screen, that allows you to start to plan out what content is going to go out in that sequence. Keeping in mind, this is a journey for a prospect. So the first email is going to be, pretty broad, and then it's going to go down from there. Now we can go a bit more advanced later on and break it out if they do certain actions or talk about certain products or be interested in certain things that you do. But the idea behind this is to be able to write the content. Maybe it's, a TED Talk or a blog post or whatever it is. The other purpose is, let's say you are doing a podcast, and I have a client that is doing this right now, and they're just starting to launch a podcast, but they've got over 100 pieces of existing content that they're going through to put into their HVN. So maybe 3 months down the road, they do a podcast on a certain topic that may enhance a piece of content in their HVN. Well, they're not always going to be top of mind familiar with every piece of content and go through all the different sequences in Infusionsoft, but they're going to be able to open up their control sheet and see if any of these emails have that topic. And if it does, they know which one to go right to, which sequence, and then go that route. Okay, so that's extremely important. So getting back to the campaign structure, we send that out here, and then goes to the end. But we are applying that tag for that month. Okay, so this is month 1. Going to month 2, one additional step happens. Again, the same sequences here, 2 emails, right? Every 2 weeks apart on Wednesday. We're applying that month's tag, but we are removing the previous month's tag. And this is done by design because we don't want to have tag bloat on the contact record. These tags only serve the purpose to annotate which sequence or which month that contact is in. Once they leave that, we don't necessarily even need that. So that tag serves no future purpose to us. The only thing it's going to serve is when they come back in. So by removing the tag of the previous month, we're only leaving the one that they're currently in. So if they got pulled out while they're in month 2, that tag for month 2 is going to stay on record. So when we drop them back in, remember in that decision diamond, it's going to say on month 3, do they have month 2? And if they do, they're going to then start the next month's sequence, eliminating any chance that they're going to get the exact same piece of content. You see what I mean there? If you've got any questions, please comment below this video wherever you're seeing it. So we go through that and we go all the way through the sequence. So these just go piggyback all the way down. They go from 6 to 7 and go down this way. Now, at the very end, one of the key things we want to do is we want to have a stop tag. So we're going to put a new tag in here. We're going to connect it and we're going to call it trigger stop high value nurture. We're going to go add, and we're going to put it into, in this case, we're not putting that high value nurture here. We have a functional category for all trigger tags in this campaign. And another great thing is you can now name these. So I'm going to put in here, just so you know, stop value nurture. Now this tag is important because it's going to always go at the end of the last sequence. So no matter where they are, because they are connected, if this is applied, it will achieve the end goal and pull them out. But knowing that it is also going to put them in here if you restart them with this tag. Here's the other thing to think about. If you're pulling them out, they're going to have that stop tag, and you're going to reapply them in here. So if you reapply, the other thing you want to remove is you want to remove stop tag, because the stop tag will stick around on that contact record because it's applied at the end. But when you reapply, you want to remove it immediately so that you could reuse the stop and pull them out later again. This stop tag is key for any other sequence. So if they opt into a webinar funnel you have and they take that desired action to go from a cold lead into a warm lead and they're in a micro funnel, you want to immediately apply that stop tag so they don't get these high value nurtures anymore. Now, if you want to keep sending them to them, that is completely up to you. So that right there is how I would build a high value nurture. You can build this in HubSpot. You can build this in ActiveCampaign. I'm sure you can build it in multiple other marketing automation systems. But keeping in mind, the nuances that I showed you in this video are going to be key to make sure that this campaign works exactly as it is intended and provides a great value point and addition to your business. So if you like this video and you like the content, please subscribe to our channel. We're having more content like this and other marketing related videos for you and your business. I'm Sean from Blue Cow Marketing. If you want to find us, go to bluecowmarketing.ca. Thanks.